Who am I as a government or anyone else, or who am I as a man standing here now to tell you what you should put in your body? Who am I to tell you what your child should put in your body? I don't have that right.
Come see me on tour in Appleton, Wisconsin, Rosemont, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Louisville, Fort Wayne, Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, San Francisco, Irvine. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. So guess what? The Surgeon General for Florida, is getting rid of vaccine mandates. Let's listen.
But what I'm most excited about is an announcement that we're going to make, that we're making now, which is that the Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them. All of them. Every last one of them. Yeah. Every last one of them. All of them. Every last one of them. Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery. Okay? Who am I as a government or anyone else, or who am I as a man standing here now to tell you what you should put in your body? Who am I to tell you what your child should put in your body? I don't have that right. Your body is a gift from God. What you put into your body, is because of your relationship with your body and your God. I don't have that right. Government does not have that right.
Whoa.
They want you to believe they have that right. And unfortunately, they've been successful. They've been successful.
So here's what I don't understand. First of all, that's fantastic. And I don't know why that isn't Donald Trump's Surgeon General. That should be Donald Trump's Surgeon General. But instead, only Florida gets that guy. That guy's been out front, crunching the data, telling the truth about COVID and the vaccine since he started. So I wish he was the Surgeon General for the country, but I'll take it. Florida. And Florida, no income tax. Look at that.
Was he saying pretty much, my body, my choice?
He almost said my body, my choice. And then I think he realized that was a slogan of pro-abortion people. Not anymore, by the way. Now they say we're pro-abortion, which is like saying I'm pro something horrible. They want to celebrate it like it's a birthday present. I remember when Democrats used to say we want abortions to be safe, legal, and rare. And now people who are abortion proponents are actually they say, "No, I'm pro-abortion." To me, that's like saying you're pro-amputation. Like, yeah, you have to do it to save a life, but no one's like celebrating it. They do that now. That's how nuts they've gone, because they can't say they're my body, my choice anymore, because during COVID, they weren't. They were your body, the government's choice. Your body, your employer's choice. Your body, Big Pharma's choice. They were no longer pro-choice. They were anti-choice. So the pro-abortion people are now anti-choice, but pro-abortion, which is just dark. It's just dark. There's no way around it. And, I was flummoxed in Chicago at the DNC. I was interviewing someone who was the head of an organization for women's productive safety. And she was telling me how I had to be being pro-choice, which is what I am. I don't want the government in between a woman and her doctor. That's pro-choice. I want them to make that choice. She said that's not enough. You have to be pro-abortion. And I was like, I've never heard that. I never even imagined someone would say something like that. That is so nuts and over the top crazy. And I said, what do you say to someone like me who's a good lefty, who's been pro-choice and wants women to make that choice? What do you say to someone like me who I can't stand the idea of being pro-abortion? And she's like, well, that involves a longer conversation. I bet it does. But here's what people said. So that video was tweeted out by Eric Doherty, and underneath, here's what people said. Dr. Lucian Wolf, Florida just drew the line. No more mandates, no more forced shots. The state surgeon general just said it out loud. Your body isn't government property. It's yours. The room didn't just erupt. It sent shockwaves across America. So here's the real test. Which states follow Florida's lead and which ones keep pretending they own you?
Wow.
So we'll see. We'll see. I like your average Bob says Florida is about to prove the autism theory within 5 years. So we'll see if the vaccines, like, the first vaccine a kid gets is the hepatitis B vaccine, which is shocking to a lot of people because the only way you get hepatitis B is from intravenous drug use or unprotected sex. And if the mother has hepatitis B, they test the mother so they know if she has it or not. So you don't have to vaccinate every baby. It's crazy, is what a lot of people say. Oh, against the hepatitis B is what I'm saying. So so if they stopped that and they started to give people choice, so if the autism rates in Florida plummet because of the repeal of these vaccine mandates, boy, won't that be something? Won't that be something? But then you hear people say this. People say this. What about pet vaccination? Big Pharma has gotten savvy and realized they can't force their vaccines on humans anymore, so they turn to pets, and pets are dying in mass right after vaccines. Now, I don't know if that's true. I can't vouch for the veracity of that. But I know a lot of people say that. And I'm pulling back on my dog's vaccine. We got our dog the rabies vaccine. I think we also got the dog the parvo, right?
Yeah.
We had to get certain vaccines, or else our dog trainer wouldn't train our dog, right? And they wouldn't. The vet wouldn't even treat our dog. It's one of those things, right? So yeah, they always talk about parvo, right? And parvo's horrible death for a dog. You know that most dogs survive parvo, like 90%. And then the other ones you can treat. You can treat them. So yeah, parvo is not good. Makes dogs vomit and have diarrhea. And then dogs can die from that, but 90% don't if you treat them. So what's the benefit? What's the cost-benefit analysis on vaccines? That's what the question is. So Shiny says, so here's listen to this. So Florida just legalized bringing back measles, polio, and smallpox in the name of freedom. Okay, so that's someone who doesn't know anything about vaccines and the history of smallpox, measles, or polio. All they know is what they hear from Big Pharma. And what do I mean by that? Well, if they turn on MSNBC or CNN or Fox News, or if they read the New York Times, Rolling Stone magazine, The Atlantic, they're just getting propaganda directly from Big Pharma. That's not news. The news is not there to inform you. The news, as Chomsky taught us, is there to manufacture consent for the oligarchy, and the oligarchs are Big Pharma. So guess your body, your choice only applies when it makes good headlines. What? No, it doesn't apply anymore. You guys stopped doing that during COVID. Hope everyone's cool with their kids being test dummies for diseases our grandparents died fighting. Now, why would your kid be a test dummy for a disease? You're going to get your kid vaccinated, right? So why does your kid need someone else to get vaccinated to make your kid's vaccine work? That doesn't make any sense. So why? So now that's just scaring. I bet you that person's getting money from Big Pharma somewhere, or is just the dumbest person in the world who believes Big Pharma propaganda. Those are your two choices. So Hope everyone's cool with their kids being test dummies for disease. Why would your kid be a test dummy for a disease if you want your kid? They're not stopping. They're not preventing you from getting a vaccine for your kid. They're saying that they're not going to make someone give their kid a vaccine. So your kid doesn't have to be a test dummy. Your kid, by the way, your kid's already a test dummy. It's a test dummy for 72 shots on the child vaccine schedule, because those vaccines have not been tested against a placebo, which is why they have immunity from prosecution in civil suits. The only product in the world that has been granted immunity from civil suits, lawsuits, and prosecution is vaccines. They don't do that for drugs. Big Pharma sells lots of drugs that get recalled. They don't have that kind of... No. Okay. It definitely should be a choice, but measles, polio, chickenpox can lead to shingles. HPV can lead to cancer or serious. So when we see outbreaks, you can thank this guy. Get your kid vaccinated. Polio is awful. Yeah. Get your kid vaccinated. So why do you, again, this idea that someone else needs to get a vaccine so my vaccine works doesn't make sense, never made sense, never will make sense. And if you want to know about polio, more polio cases are now caused by the vaccine than by a wild virus. That's from the AP. That's not from some fringe organization. That's a headline in the AP. You want to know what they say? 4 African countries have reported new cases of polio linked to the oral vaccine. Remember during COVID, they wanted to scare you because they said they found polio in the wastewater in New York, upstate New York. Every one of those polio cases came from the oral vaccine. The oral vaccine they know causes polio, which is why they stopped using them in the United States, but they keep giving them to poor people in Africa. 4 African countries have reported new cases of polio linked to the oral vaccine, as global health numbers show there are now more children being paralyzed by viruses originating in vaccines than in the wild. In a report late last week, the World Health Organization and partners noted 9 new polio cases caused by the vaccine in Nigeria, Congo, Central African Republic, and Angola. 7 countries elsewhere in Africa have similar outbreaks, and cases have been reported in Asia. Of the 2 countries where polio remains endemic, Afghanistan and Pakistan, vaccine-linked cases have been identified in Pakistan. In rare cases, the live virus and oral polio vaccine can mutate into a form capable of sparking new outbreaks. All the current vaccine-derived polio cases have been sparked by a type 2 virus contained in the vaccine. Type 2 wild virus was eliminated years ago. People don't know this, even though it was printed in AP a couple of years ago. People don't, and people still say stupid stuff like this. Yeah, you got it. You know, get your kids vaccinated. Polio's awful. He's going to say, hey, go get your kid vaccinated. Why do you need to make my kid get vaccinated? Why do you need someone else's kid to get vaccinated if your vaccine works? You afraid it doesn't work? I think you're afraid it doesn't work. So good on the Surgeon General of Florida. And, you know, lots of people who were pro-COVID mandate vaccine were people who were protesting this everything Big Pharma before COVID. They were protesting, for instance, Neil Young, the musician who took his stuff off Spotify because of Joe Rogan telling the truth about COVID and ivermectin. Before COVID, Neil Young used to go to protests against GMOs in our food. So if you're against GMOs in our food, but you're okay with mRNAs in our blood, yeah, because they've been fed propaganda, and that's what this is. This is propaganda. So good on the Surgeon General of Florida, and good on you for coming seeing me do stand-up comedy. I'll be in Chicago. We'll be in Appleton, Wisconsin. We'll be in Fort Wayne, Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, San Francisco, Irvine, and Louisville. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Come see me on tour in Appleton, Wisconsin, Rosemont, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Louisville, Fort Wayne, Hermosa Beach, Sacramento, San Francisco, Irvine. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.